Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Malcomplains. Today we'll be taking a look at Everspace, developed and published by Rockfish Games. Everspace first came out in September last year. It was early access release that piqued my interest back then already. It stayed in early access till 26th of May this year, and I decided to take full dive and see if the game is any good. Game is 3D dogfighting arcade. Some would say sim, but compared to other space sims like Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen, it's not really a proper simulation. And I think in this particular case, it's a good thing. Game focus is moved from simulation to exploration, fighting and dying. Lots and lots of dying. Yes, you guessed it. It's a roguelite with randomly generated encounters and progression system. FTL inspiration can be seen in few gameplay elements, but more about all of that later. I played Everspace for 20 hours or so, and as always this video is not an in-depth review but an early impression. Worth mentioning is my impression includes the Encounters DLC. So how's the story? Main protagonist is suffering from memory loss, yeah of course that's kinda cliché, and have to progress adventure to end flashbacks of his story. Not much excitement there in my opinion. There is of course more cliché to go, smart as AI of your ship mostly critiquing your choices and giving you historical context for the world. Cinematics are made in style of animated sketches with voiceover, and though visually pleasing, it doesn't make the story any more interesting sadly. But do you really play this type of game for the story? I know I personally don't. I'm here mostly for thrill of the triple X. Exploration, explosion, extermination. Story is just a bonus. Let's start with our first X, exploration. There is plenty to discover. After warping into the system you see different symbols appear on your screen. Some will take you into the resources, other to derelicts or mission encounters of course. Some are placed in hard to maneuver places to make sure you risk hitting walls and taking some damage that way. Some require you to get past some defense system. Even despite being fun, it's not completely without vices. Sensors have limited range, and you're forced to do a lot of busy work flying from side to side of sector looking for blue circles. Speaking of which, that blue circles can be really easy to miss. Part of blame for that takes that multiple circles can cover each other, and also the only way of judging distance to them is by the size of the icon, which doesn't tell you much. Bigger problem here is lack of 3D minimap to help you navigate and orientate yourself in a 6 degree of freedom. I don't really understand why they haven't decided to put one in, but certainly doesn't help. Even despite there is boost to speed up traveling between furthest part of system you are in, some distances takes a bit too long. Are you gonna spend extra 30 seconds traveling towards, or are you just gonna jump to next system looking for a fight? Speaking of jumping, you can't spend too much time in its system because just like in FTL, you feel breath of enemy chase on your neck. When buzzer goes off, heralding your hunter's arrival to your system, you better be quick with aligning the jump vector and making yourself scarce. Jumping out of system will show you an FTL-inspired node-based map, letting you choose your next system to explore and of course exterminate. So, how are our last two X's? Explosion and extermination. Combat is chaotically fun. Enemies' difficulty range from trivial to deadly in a proper manner. Some enemies are almost boss fights. What is more important, arsenal of weapons, devices and consumables is big enough for you to have interesting choices each run. Beam laser, Gatling guns, flak cannons, coils guns and much more, and this is only for your primary weapons. Secondaries offer different kinds of missiles, mines clusters and torpedoes. But this is not where the inventory fun ends. Game offer you devices and consumables. Devices are my favorite part of inventory, giving you the most options. From simple passives like tractor beam or sensor relay improving your sensor range, to active ones like the time extender, giving you almost like bullet time effect in space, or Gatling turret doing part of the work for you. Consumables are a little bit less exciting in my opinion. Maybe it's because I tend to hoard them in case I get in real trouble instead of using whenever I need. My favorite consumable is combat drone that follows you and helps you spread mayhem until it dies. All the weapons and most of the devices can be upgraded or crafted assuming you have the found correct blueprint. Of course, same cases for the consumables, which give you extra motivation for collecting resources. And if that doesn't give you much motivation for collecting ore, scraps or crystal, there is two things that you're gonna be hunting, especially in later game: fuel and nanobots. First one is required for obvious reason, and since BP haven't reached space yet, you're forced to scavenge it out of enemy wrecks or mine them from asteroids. Second one is used to repair your ship, or in combination with various other resources to fix certain system in your ship, like for example life support or sensors. At some point you're gonna lack either fuel or health, and die miserably, which all is part of the plan. All the credits you earn from the RXXX runs can be spent to improve both pilot and his ship. Some upgrades are better, some are worse, it all depends on your playstyle. Word of warning before you start to upgrade your ship: make sure it's the correct one and you're planning on sticking to it for a while, because each ship have separate upgrade tree. So if you unlock one of the other ships for 10,000 credits, you will keep all your pilot upgrades, but the new ship won't have any of the ship-specific upgrades unlocked. Each ship changes gameplay as well. Light small, stealthy fighter, or heavy armored big gunship but without a shield? Or maybe something between? Upgrade system isn't flawless, some unlocks require multiple purchases to actually unlock, some are just flat boring. Sometimes even when you have spent a lot of credits you haven't bought anything useful. Giving player more crazy unlocks, even maybe power trip, and then just scaling up enemies would be more fun in terms of progression. Game is using Unreal Engine 4 and definitely have moments when it looks beautifully, but sometimes it feels a bit repetitive in terms of scenery. Getting used to controls takes a bit of time, and sometimes my movement still feels clunky. Game doesn't support joystick or HOTAS, and controller feels worse than playing with mouse and keyboard for some reason. Vive and Oculus are supported, and from what I've heard, pretty good experience. Definitely giving it another go when, if I ever get VR. DLC offer extra NPC encounters, hence the name, which gives you extra mission rewarding loot, credits and fun. Encounters gameplay-wise are a good aspect of the game, but the writing and especially in-game cutscenes and dialogues are more often than not cringe-inducing. Everspace is not perfect but far from bad. It has some very nice ideas and fun gameplay. Personally, I think boring upgrades hold back the game the most. I want power trip, I want fun unlocks. I also think a lot of players misunderstood what the game is and what is not. It's not FTL in 3D. It took certain ideas from Faster Than Light, for example sector map or being chased, but it's mechanically completely different game. If you're looking for a story-driven game, if you want to focus on trading and diplomacy, if you want open world exploration or in-depth space sim, this is not a game for you. But if you want to feel thrill of combat and explosions, like pushing further and further under pressure of time, and all of the above flavored with roguelite progression, this game will keep you busy. Everspace, available on Steam, Humble Store and GOG for $30 or your original equivalent. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, consider subscribing for more content like this. If you have questions, leave a comment below. Leave a like if you think I did a good job. See ya in the next one.